Former President Trump pleads not guilty. One bad husband is going to prison, and another will soon be there. And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment, hit that little bell for notifications, and remember, you can listen to us on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Let's go ahead and get straight to the docket for August 3rd, 2023. And first on the docket, what do we have? Former President Trump has pled not guilty. He appeared in a courtroom in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, where he faces 4 federal charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Now, this is the second federal indictment the former president faces out of Special Prosecutor Jack Smith's investigation. Now, Trump, who leads the 2024 GOP presidential primary field, has already pled not guilty to 37 counts relating to his alleged improper retention of classified records relating to his presidency. Those charges include willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and false statements. Trump had his indictment superseded in that case, and additional 3 counts were added in the probe last week. Those charges alleged to basically an alleged cover-up where it's alleged where he asked people that worked at Mar-a-Lago to get rid of the security system or the taping system. Now, President Trump is the first former president in U.S. history to face federal criminal charges. Now, the indictment alleges for more than 2 months following Election Day on November 3rd of 2020, Trump spread lies and there had been outcome determinative fraud in the election and that he had actually won. Now, the indictment lists various claims that Trump's team made during post-election state challenges in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. These claims, according to the indictment, were false, and the defendant knew that they were false, according to Special Prosecutor Smith. But the defendant repeated and widely disseminated them in any way to make his knowingly false claim appear legitimate, create an intense national atmosphere of mistrust and anger, and erode public faith in the administration of the election. Well, they have to show that Trump knew the result was legitimate and that he ignored that. And even then, you have to remember, you got free speech. Remember, I know this is hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen. Brace yourselves. Politicians can lie. They do it all the time, and it's protected speech. Just something to think about there, ladies and gentlemen. Well, needless to say, Special Prosecutor Smith said that President Trump, between November 14th, 2020 and January 20th, 2021, did knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with co-conspirators, known and unknown to the grand jury, to defraud the United States by using dishonest, fraud, and deceit to impair, obstruct, and defeat the lawful federal government function by which the results of the presidential election are collected, counted, and certified by the federal government. Now, it does make you wonder if the Special Prosecutor Smith knows of the unnamed co-conspirators. Why are they not indicted as well? Because it would be a conspiracy. Why are they not indicted? Or have they already cut deals to testify against the former president? We'll have to wait and see. Now, President Trump and his campaign obviously had a reaction to that, and they said that the Trump campaign spokesman has stated that this is nothing more than the latest corrupt chapter in the continued pathetic attempt by the Biden crime family and their weaponized Department of Justice to interfere with the 2024 presidential election, in which President Trump is the undisputed frontrunner and leading by substantial margins. But why did they wait 2.5 years to bring these fake charges right in the middle of the President Trump's winning campaign for 2024? Why was it announced the day after the big crooked Biden scandal broke out from the halls of Congress? Trump's spokesman asked. The answer is, because it was a rhetorical question, election interference. The spokesman continued that the lawlessness of these persecution of President Trump and his supporters is reminiscent of Nazi Germany in the 1930s, the former Soviet Union, and other authoritarian dictatorial regimes. President Trump has always followed the law and the Constitution with the advice from many highly accomplished attorneys, the statement added. So, obviously, it's going forward. President Trump doesn't have any more pretrial restrictions more severe than what he had in Florida, and no trial dates have been set. Now, obviously, there's going to be issues about whether President Trump can receive a fair trial in the District of Columbia. If you go by the voting records, which voted, I think, about 96% for Biden in the last election, not looking good for the president there. But the chances of moving the venue, I don't think I'd hold my breath on that particular argument either. We'll have to see when the trial date is set. The government wants a speedy trial, and in theory, that is within 70 days of saying not guilty. Ends of justice for a continuance need to be asked for and found by the court to extend beyond those 70 days. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know, is this justice or persecution? Let me know in the comments. Next, let's talk about some bad husbands. A Georgia man has been found guilty of murdering his wife and his brother-in-law because he didn't want her to know that he had fathered some other children with another woman. So back on October 27th of 2021, the Fulton County deputy Shakima Jackson and her brother Lavoy Brown were shot and killed in their home in Covington, Georgia. On the night of the killings, the murderer, Jaquavia Jackson, was due to appear in court with Shakima the next morning after two women claimed he had fathered children with them. Now, the defendant had sent someone else to do the DNA test for him, and the court date on the 28th was to address these fake DNA tests, and his wife would have found out the truth, and to the extent of him lying and cheating. After the murders, the defendant claimed both on scene and in an interview at the sheriff's office that the two unknown men entered the house and killed his wife and brother. What do we say about it? Surveillance footage, ladies and gentlemen? That's right. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's security camera showed no one coming or going from the residence. And then on the morning of the murders, the defendant called a neighbor across the street to ask if his security camera was working properly. He was told that they were not, adding that Jaquavia had fired a stage shot in the house. Well, Jaquavia and Shakima shared a 17-month-old son together. Jaquavia has been convicted of the 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of malice murder, and 2 counts of possession of a firearm during a felony. He remains in custody at the Newton County Jail following the verdict. What can you say? Those pesky security cameras. What have we said, ladies and gentlemen? Not that we're encouraging people to commit crime, because we are not, but you can't do it. Your cell phone is the greatest truth-seeking tool ever created for law enforcement, and video cameras are everywhere. You must assume, unless you're standing in the middle of a field somewhere, or in a cave, or in your own house, you must assume you are being watched. Just like when they always said, if you're going to write an email, make sure that you're comfortable with that email if it appeared on the front page of the New York Times. Just assume you're being watched, because you probably are. Next, another husband who's going to jail real soon. When Florida police found a woman dismembered in 3 different suitcases along the Intercoastal Waterway, it was unclear when they would catch the real killer. Well, the victim's name was a mystery, and investigators had to resort to making a reconstruction of her face and ultimately released pictures of her clothes and the suitcases involved. The victim was then identified as Adil Barbosa Fontes. She was 80 years old, and she lived nearby where the suitcases were found with her husband and alleged murderer, William Lowe, 78 years old. Well, witnesses separately found 3 suitcases with different body parts along the waterway back on July 21st of this year. Police said in statements and arrest affidavits that these contained small landscaping rocks. The second of the suitcase had a sticker feature that had the name Barbosa. The following day, the police found a tote-type bag tied shut twice containing the victim's head. Investigators later identified Fontes through dental records. The police also found a single gunshot wound behind her ear with an exit wound behind the opposite ear, and a purse slightly north that was tied with the same type of twine with the other bag. The purse had an ashtray inside, which police speculated was possibly used for weight, and there was also an extreme odor of decomposition. But where could the possible killer be? Well, right around the corner. 2 couples and 3 men doing roof work all claimed to see an older white man with a gold sedan hanging around where another witness found the third suitcase. The roof workers said the mystery man was driving a Ford. Now, one of the couples said that this stranger looked into the waterway for several days before July 21st. They stated he appeared to be looking at the suitcase. The witnesses claimed to see him approximately 5 or 6 times over a 3-day period in the same area. The witness told police he asked the man what he was looking at. The stranger allegedly claimed to be waiting for some big boat to come into the harbor. Well, the witness realized that no big boats came into the harbor because it was too shallow. The witness then questioned the stranger about which boat he was waiting for. The stranger pointed to a boat across the waterway and said, "A boat like that." He apparently was quite nervous, and the stranger immediately walked to his car. The same older model gold sedan was left in the area. Now, the roof workers claimed to see the same stranger on July 21st, the day the suitcases were found. They described a stranger standing on the seawall looking at the suitcases. He allegedly said, "Shoot!" immediately and left in his car. A second couple described seeing this stranger entering the waterway using a metal dock ladder. That same ladder was later tested when a detective noticed the bottom step was missing barnacles. The testing was positive for blood, according to the police. The stranger appeared to have a brush on a metal pole in his hand. Now, the witnesses also observed what appeared to be the subject attempting to push or scrape something into the waterway using the brush in some sort of downward motion, according to police. Well, once again, surveillance footage showed the white man with gray hair climbing down the residence dock ladder at 7:04 a.m. on July 20th. The male then climbed back up the ladder and walked out of the area of the surveillance footage. The footage shows him climbing down the ladder later that day at 4:13 p.m. Shirtless, the man carried what seemed to be a Cheesecake Factory bag that appeared to have some kind of weight to it. He also had the same metal pole with him. As the man climbed out of the shot and reemerged minutes later without the bag, the subject immediately removes his shoes and exits the frame, according to the police, and police found a pair of shoes in the same area. That Cheesecake Factory bag detail is important because the police said that the third suitcase had a Cheesecake Factory bag that had multiple landscaping rocks. Needless to say, the police were ultimately able to track down Mr. Lowe after a detective noted a gold Ford Taurus and ran the plates. Turned out the defendant lived just 0.1 miles from the location where the third suitcase was found and 0.3 miles from the dock ladder. After an advisement pursuant to Arizona v. Miranda, Mr. Lowe allegedly claimed his wife had been in Brazil for about 3 weeks, but couldn't explain how or when she got to the airport. Mr. Lowe allegedly said that he didn't know when he last spoke with his wife. When he was shown a picture of 2 of the suitcases, he's claimed to have never seen those suitcases before. When asked why a sticker on one had his wife's name, he had no explanation. Detectives executed a search warrant at the couple's apartment. Police said they found blood spatter pretty much everywhere: the living room, dining room, hallway, both the bathrooms, and the master bedroom. There was blood in the master bath shower drain. There was blood in the tub of the second bathroom. Officers also found what they believed to be drag marks in the living room, the hallway, and the master bedroom. Police also noted there were numerous cleaning supplies throughout the apartment. Some of them also contained blood spatter. And if that wasn't enough, Mr. Lowe allegedly tried returning home during the execution of the search warrant attempting to enter through the rear window before the officers notified him or noticed him and arrested him. Mr. Lowe simply claimed he was trying to get his phone and the keys to that storage unit he's been meaning to go to. That's right. Detectives also wanted to take a look in that storage unit, and they did, where they found a chainsaw with some blood, some bone matter, flesh and hair on it. Now, apparent blood marked the cover of the inside of a nearby cooler as well. Now, one of the couple's neighbors told investigators she had not seen Miss Fontes for several weeks. The neighbor also relayed some recent suspicious incidents. In one, her dog barked one early morning, and she claimed to hear Lowe's apartment door open and close. The alleged activity from Lowe's apartment was unusual, according to the neighbor. So, although Mr. Lowe is entitled to the presumption of innocence, I think he's going to spend his dying days in prison.
As a pet owner, you want to give your furry friend the very best. That's why Baked in Colorado's CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect choice. These delicious treats not only taste great, but they also provide a wide range of health benefits for your pet. CBD has been shown to have many positive effects on dogs, including reducing anxiety, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving overall wellness. Baked in Colorado's treats are infused with premium, full-spectrum CBD oil, meaning your pet will benefit from the whole plant extract. Not only that, but Baked in Colorado's treats are made with all-natural human-grade ingredients, so you can feel good about what you're giving your pet. They're also free from wheat, corn, and soy, making them a great option for dogs with food sensitivities. Baked in Colorado CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect way to support your pet's health and well-being. With various flavors, including peanut butter, pumpkin, and bacon, your dog will love them too. So why wait? Head to www.bakedincolorado.com today and order your dog a bag of these delicious and nutritious treats. Your pet will thank you for it.
And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. A man was battered yesterday by his ex-wife, who apparently ripped his CPAP machine, you know, the one that helps you breathe at night. Well, it was ripped off his face while he was snoozing, according to the police, and the victim was left bloody after the 3:45 a.m. incident. Police say Jennifer Colandre and the victim lived together in St. Petersburg in the home owned by the man. Colandre and her ex-spouse divorced back in 2009, according to public records. And according to the man, he was asleep in his bed early Monday with the CPAP in place when Colandre came into the room and ripped the breathing device off his face, leaving him with a bloody cut on his lower lip. Colandre then began arguing with him, according to the arrest affidavit. Now, using mild air pressure, the CPAP machine helps keep a user breathing their airways clear while they sleep, trying to prevent snoring. Now, Ms. Colandre was arrested for domestic battery, which is a misdemeanor, and booked into the county jail. A judge has ordered her to have no contact with her former husband. Now, while an arrest affidavit does not indicate why Ms. Colandre was living with her ex, the residential arraignment appears to be somewhat recent. Last year, the victim was arrested following a domestic confrontation with a woman he had been in a romantic relationship for the last 12 years. It's an interesting story. Now, maybe she was just tired of the CPAP machine. I think they go, psh. That's what I hear. Don't use one myself. Although people that have them love them. Maybe she just wasn't getting a good night's sleep and he was sleeping like a baby. I don't know. You would think, though, if she wanted him dead, she would have just turned the CPAP machine off, because then he probably wouldn't have been breathing. He could have died. Not everybody dies, but you could die because you have sleep apnea. That's why you have the machine on. So who knows? You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.